As previously mentioned, the band got to work on their first studio album towards the beginning of 1992. Tom Carolyn, an executive at Atlantic Records, had interest in working with the band after seeing a show of theirs in Los Angeles. Brendan O'Brien began work as their producer. He had just come off mixing 10 by Pearl Jam and Blood Sugar Sex Magic by Red Hot Chili Peppers. Now that is inappropriate. Do better next time, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
That's disgusting!
The album took 3 weeks to record, a period that Dean DeLeo said was one of the best times of his life. That was some of my greatest memories of Scott. He was so on his game and he was so healthy. He was electric and vibrant. There was an innocence, yet a determination with all of us. When recordings for the album had finished, they chose the name Core based on the Adam and Eve story from the Bible. The album cover is Eve taking the apple from the Tree of Eden. The album was released on September 29th, 1992. It's kind of crazy how many things happened on this day in history. My favorite band, Rush, released their first live album, All the World's a Stage. Les Claypool was born.
We suck.
And most importantly, Blake Day, baby!
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Core was certified platinum for selling 1 million copies on June 9th, 1993. It has now gone platinum 8 times, meaning it's sold over 8 million records since release. They released 3 singles from the album: Sex Type Thing,
That's disgusting!
which they released on March 15th, 1993, Plush, released on August 23rd, 1993, and Creep, Not That Creep, these are 2 separate songs, released on November 1st, 1993. Critics didn't initially love Core, saying it sounded too similar to Pearl Jam. While you can argue this had some merit with the band working with Brendan O'Brien, who had just gotten off of helping Pearl Jam produce 10, you would look kinda stupid if you argued this, I'm not gonna lie. I at least can only hear slight similarities, and as we all know, I'm always right. The reception of the album at the time can be summarized by what happened in the January 1994 issue of the Rolling Stone, as readers labeled STP as the best and worst new band. Over time though, Core has been near universally praised in retrospective looks. As for my quick thoughts on Core, this album is great. I'm gonna mention some standouts to me. I'll put them on screen. If they're in green, it means I've got something to say about them. If they're in blue, I mean I got nothing, but go listen to them anyway. These standouts are Dead and Bloated, the opening track, Sex Type Thing, Wicked Garden, Creep, again not that Creep. These songs actually came out just a week apart, crazy enough, Plush, and Cracker Man. Plush has a famous acoustic version that the band performed for MTV. Sex Type Thing is the first STP song I learned on bass, and it, as well as Plush, are 2 of the very best songs the band ever produced. The rest of the songs on the album are all good as well. The band released Core Super Deluxe Edition for the album's 25th anniversary on September 29th, 2017. It includes a ton of cool bonuses, such as the MTV Unplugged recording, as well as another more traditional live concert from the Core tour. It also includes the original demos the band had recorded during the Mighty Joe Young days. This included demos for a song called Only Dying. This song was meant to be included on the soundtrack of the film The Crow. However, after the now famous accidental death of Brandon Lee on set, both the band and the film crew felt it best not to include the song Only Dying in the soundtrack. Ultimately, the band used a track from their following album, Big Empty, in the film instead. It also included a studio recording for a swing version of Sex Type Thing, as well as an acoustic recording of Plush and a new version of Creep with different vocals. The band did MTV Unplugged in 1993, as previously mentioned. They played songs from Core in acoustic form, as well as the debut of Big Empty, the song that would be used in The Crow. With all that said, Core remains perhaps the most influential album the band ever released. Now that the band had an established identity, it was time to keep this newfound momentum rolling.